I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Sorry about that. Should have done that before the video. But it's hotter than shit. Global warming is upon us. Getting fucking 100-some degrees in Iowa, for fuck's sake. But anyway, to the review. This is a film that I have a little bit of weird history with, because I remember when I first saw this film, I actually liked the film. Then as time went on, for some reason, my love of it kind of went to, okay, I liked it. Then I'm like, it's okay. Then I didn't like it. In fact, I've talked about BS cast before and stuff of not liking the movie. But I wanted to give the film another shot. And that is Soldier. Film with Kurt Russell. Directed by Paul Wild Stallion Anderson. Which I like more common Event Horizon, but I'm not a fan of Resident Evil films. Just my personal thing. Now, I gotta say, watching this film again, it's okay. It's written by David Peoples, who... Is he the same guy? Yeah. 12 Monkeys, Unforgiven, and he also wrote Blade Runner. Oh, he also had a hand in Leviathan and Lady Hawk. Oh, he actually tried to adapt Sergeant Rod, the comic book series from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wow. But yeah, he wrote Unforgiven. He wrote cool, Leviathan with Jeb Stewart. Love that movie, of course. 12 Monkeys. I guess this was the last film he worked on. At least that's what it says on Wikipedia. Maybe he's done more since. But the reason I mention that is that before I get into the film, this kind of has a sort of a reference to being in the same universe as Blade Runner. Like, in one scene, you kind of see a spinner. I believe that's what the vehicle is called in Blade Runner. You see it in the junkyard of the planet. They also reference the Tannhauser gates. Like, okay, there's this big battle, the Tannhauser gates. And if you've seen Blade Runner, you know what the Tannhauser gates is. You definitely know what that is. Especially with Rutger Hauer's very wonderful speech. Because Rutger Hauer was really good as Roy Batty in that film. But if you're wondering what I'm doing, I want to make sure... Yeah, 1998 this film came out. And it didn't do that well. Film was pretty much a big flop, which is too bad. And I gotta say, I was wrong on this movie. I'm being enough man to admit it. I was wrong about this movie. I really liked this film, watching it again. Even though I don't understand this reference, Rambo, Death Wish, and Dirty Harry in Outer Space. I get the Rambo part, but I don't really know what Death Wish and Dirty Harry has to do with this movie. I really don't, because he's not a vigilante and he's not a cop. So I get the Rambo part because he's a soldier, but I just, what the hell. And doesn't have any features, has a trailer, has a commentary track with Paul Anderson, Jeremy Bolt, and Jason Isaacs. I swear to God, and I'm not deaf, that you cannot hear Paul W.S. and Anderson on the commentary. You can hear Jerry Bolt and Jason Isaacs, but you cannot hear Paul Anderson. It's like, hey, how's it going? Then you see the, hey, we did this scene by blah, blah, blah. Then Paul Anderson, we did. Like, what the hell? Like, I swear, I put it up to, like, all the way up. I could barely hear Paul Anderson. So I don't know what the hell. Maybe it was just my DVD or what. The reason I got into the film is the film is a very simple story. I think that's one of the things that actually appealed to me watching it again, is it is a simple story. You have Kurt Russell, who his character is brought up by birth to be a soldier along with a group of others. As perfect a soldier as they can be. So they get this tattoo across their face here with their name. Like, his name is Todd. And as kids, they're taught to show no mercy, they learn about violence, that they have these rabid dogs, and they have like a boar or a pig or something, like a boar or something, and they have the dogs attack it and blood flying, and like one kid tries to look away, but they sort of push them to keep on looking. Another instance, when they're older, they're doing this sort of marathon running, but there's one kid lagging behind, and you see a vehicle pull up, and then you hear a gunshot, so you get the idea that they actually killed a kid because he was lagging behind. He wasn't up to snuff, so to speak. So really hardcore, to train these kids since birth to be as badass as soldiers as they can be. And then it cuts to Kurt Russell's character doing a few battles. Like, he's doing a battle on land, then he does a battle in the snow, and he's been programmed in such a fucked up way. Like, he sees a woman being held hostage and he shoots the woman as well as the bad guy. And it's because he's been programmed to do that, to show no emotion, no pity, anything. And then it has him doing a fight like on one of the moons. So he has like a spacesuit and he's shooting people like on this moon type of I forget what moon it was. And it's even like during their break time, like when they're not in active duty, like you see him and a group of people just sitting on their beds like this. And I know Kurt Russell got paid a lot of money for this film, and what's funny is like he barely has any dialogue in the movie. I don't know, it was like he has like 17 words or something like that in the entire movie. It's something like that, and they might have here on the trivia. Yeah, writer David People said Soldier is a sequel to Blade Runner because it takes place in the same universe. In fact, the vehicles used by the Blade Runners are also used in Soldier. I'm trying to think where. I'm trying to see if they have that. Keanu Reeves was set for the lead role? I did not know that. I don't know. Would Keanu Reeves have done this? Be interesting, but, I thought Kurt Russell did a really good job. Yeah, he got paid like $20 million, so you got a big paycheck, Kurt Russell. I know a funny thing was they set up this false thing where like Kurt Russell broke his ankle, and like I think they said some false thing like he did it during a stunt, but apparently he actually did, like he tripped on what was it? He broke his ankle, so it affected him throughout most of the movie. And then they put this bullshit thing that said, oh, it was a stunt. Like, he broke it while doing a stunt, but he tripped on, like, some cabbage during break. That's how he broke his ankle. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, but I know he doesn't have many words, but he does a really good job just showing all his expressions with his face. And what I mean by, the story finds out that him and his other soldiers are obsolete. Obsolete, because you have this asshole played by Jason Isaacs. This asshole, he comes in, and then you also have Gary Busey as another. He's sort of the commander of Kurt Russell and his soldiers. And then Jason Isaacs comes in, and he has his men, including Jason Scott Lee, which he's more buff than he was in fucking Dryden the Bruce Lee story. He really got buffed up. And basically he says that, well, his men are more obsolete because they use like gene therapy or like they mess with their DNA, stuff like that. Something to that effect. And so they have Caruso and those do these tests, and there's this scene where, okay, get on these chains, and Caruso and some of his guys fight Jason Scott Lee, but they pretty much get beaten up. And they go, okay, the men are obsolete, so just dump them on this planet. And they dump Caruso and these other guys on this planet, but Caruso isn't dead. And he wakes up, he's been stranded on this planet. And basically he finds this group of people they were going to something called the Trinity Moons, I believe. But something happened, they sort of got abandoned there. They just try to make their life work. And, is it? Wow. Well, really enough, folks, I'm reviewing these two films. I did not realize Connie Nielsen, who's in this film, who I talked about, she was in Basic, she's in this film too. That was Connie Nielsen too. Wow, and I didn't mind her. Wow. I didn't realize I watched two films with her in the same day. But like, he meets up with this group of people in this sort of facility. Well, you won't call it facility, sort of the wastelands. And it's kind of like you've seen this done in a lot of westerns. An outsider comes into town, and they kind of accept him, and he's the guy who tries to regain his humanity, tries to regain, and he learns that Connie Nielsen and get the guy's name. They have a kid the kid did a good job too, who I guess he got bit by a snake, and yeah, Sean Pertwee. Sean Pertwee and Connie Nielsen, they have this kid. He was bitten by a snake, and he can't speak. And a very cute kid. I knew it. Yeah, he was the kid in Volcano. He was the little kid in Volcano at the end when Tommy Lee Jones' daughter is trying to save, and that big building's falling down. He's in this film. It's a cute kid. I think it was the last film he did. Taylor Thorne. That's too bad because granted, he didn't have any words, but he did a really good job. He was cute. And Kurt Russell sort of regains some of his humanity, but, he doesn't have much to say. But, like, he saves Michael Chiklis. He's in the film. Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four movie and the TV show The Shield. Kurt Russell saves him, and he kind of bonds and regains his humanity. And they kind of feel sorry for him because he talks about how he always lives in fear and discipline. But most of the acting he shows with his body movements, his face, and he does a really good job with it, I gotta admit. And basically what's going on is Jason Isaacs and Gary Busey, they're going in to these places, and if there's anyone there, they're going to wipe them out. They want to clear the area for bullshit reasons because they're assholes. They think Caruso did something, so they kick him out, but then Sean Pertwee says, you know what, we were wrong. Tries to get Caruso to come back, but then that's when the bad guys come in and they kill Sean Pertwee. And Caruso goes back and basically kicks everybody's ass. And that's what you get pretty much the last 30-40 minutes of the movie is Caruso kicking everybody's ass. Just a really entertaining film. It does remind me a little bit of Rambo 2 because he's getting people one by one. Like there's a scene where he had, again, pretty much straight out of Rambo 2. I mean, he's hiding. Instead of mud, it's just in the shadows. He does this, and he did a knife in the eye, which was cool. Before that, he jumps in, cracks a guy's neck, and, he shoots a guy with a fucking bazooka, like a futuristic bazooka, hits the guy, and he flies out. Well, he shoots one, and it hits this fan, and it lands on this guy, impaling him. You have this scene with the... Can't really see it there because it's in shadow, but he has, badass minigun, and he gets under the water, and he rises up from the water and shoots the guys. I kind of wanted him to use that gun a little bit more, but that's me being greedy. Sets up like some traps along the way, like a guy falls into a pit with all these snakes, or he, that thing that they do in a few action movies where you have gunfire and they think the hero is there, but they realize they put some wire and shit, and it's just like another body, and then it's a trap, and he, boom, fucks him up. Fucks up a few other bad guys, has a fight with Jason Scott Lee. I will admit, I'm still not a big fan of the fight with Jason Scott Lee, because Jason Scott Lee, he's a good martial artist. I mean, even if you watch Dragon the Bruce Lee story, the guy can do something. I think he's capable of it. And Kurt Russell, he's not really he can do it well too. I mean, the fight's okay. I mean, I know it's more of a brawl. I'm not asking for like a Mortal Kombat type of fight scene. It is more of a brawl, throwing this, and they're both hurt. I understand that. And I like the idea where Kurt Russell kind of psychs him out because he looks at a weapon and he looks down to Jason Scott Lee, so he thinks Kurt Russell's going to go for that, so he goes, but it was a trick. Kurt Russell gets his like helicopter blade, cuts the guy right here, hits him, breaks Jason Scott Lee's arm in like one move. I'm like, ooh, shit. But I kind of wish it was like a little bit more better choreography. I mean, if I've seen better choreography in PM entertainment films and low-budget action films, even like, what Stallone did in Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes, like, that's a really good fight. Like, I would like a little bit more better choreography. Like, it was almost like a little bit too much slow motion. Or it was like a little bit too much I thought it was kind of goofy, like, Jason Scott Lee hits Kurt Russell, and it slams into the sign, but the sign falls and, like, hits Jason Scott Lee on the head. And I'm like, I thought that was kind of a little bit goofy. But I don't know, I would like a little bit more technique, like, they both are soldiers for years and years, like, like a little bit more technique on the back and forth or something. But it is what it is. I mean, it was okay, but I do think it could have been done better. I think there is room for improvement. But basically, he kills Jason Scott Lee, and he gets the other survivors, and they go off to the ship because the asshole Jason Isaacs, the colonel, he's killed Gary Busey. He's gonna set this planet killer, this big old bomb's gonna fuck up everything. And Kurt Russell finds some of his older fellow soldiers, and one of them is actually this guy named James Black. He's the black guy, and he doesn't die. By the way, just like Mission to Mars, I forgot to mention that. Don Cheadle, he's the black guy, he doesn't die. Holy shit, he's the black guy and he doesn't die. Holy shit. Wow. But I wish they would have given James Black a little bit more to do, but you only get little hints that, him and Kurt Russell have gone back a long way, those characters. And again, James Black doesn't have much dialogue, but he plays it well too. And James Black, he's been in a few bit parts, and like Godzilla and Universal Soldier: The Return, Out of Sight. I know he was in a few J.R. Bookwalter films. Maybe people, yeah, probably a lot of people don't know who that is. But like, there's a film called Ozone that James Black starred in. I think he also starred in this TV show called The Burning Zone. I haven't seen that TV show, but I know my friend Effrey talked about it. But I like this guy, James Black. And yeah, it would have been nice to have him do a little bit more, but oh well, that's how it is. But I thought he did a good job. And the bad guys, like Jason Isaacs sees Kurt Russell, and the guy pisses his pants, and they leave them on the planet, and they get the hell out of there. And like Jason Isaacs and them try to disarm the bomb, and they fuck up, boom. And I like the ending. I thought it was a pretty sweet ending where, the silent kid comes up and just does this, and Kurt Russell sort of looks and then just grabs him. And then even James Black, he's trying to look at him like, And Kurt Russell kind of gives like this little nod, like so almost like a shrug. I like the way it's done where it's like they really do have a connection, you know, not only because they're both silent, like, you can tell like they're kind of similar in a way. I know this sounds really stupid, but Caruso just points him there, and he looks off, and you see them looking off into, they don't go to those, what the hell did I say? The moons, shit. Something moon, triple moons, fuck, I forgot what it was. Trinity moons. See the movie for yourself, you know what I mean. Oh, another piece of trivia I thought was pretty funny is that if you watch the opening and you see, not the opening, but you see a scene where Kurt Russell's character, they're given all his statistics, like what medals he won. Like if you look on the left, like if you look over here and you see like all the medals he's won, all the medals are like based on uh, old Kurt Russell characters he's played. I thought that was really funny. Like, he's a recipient of the Pliskin Medal, the O'Neill Ring Award from Stargate, Cash Medal of Honor, like from Tango and Cash, McCready Cross, Captain Ron Trophy, McCaffrey Fire Award, McCaffrey from Backdraft. I thought that was pretty fun stuff that they had there. Also, Todd's weapons training record lists the USMC Smart Gun and M41A Pulse Rifle from Aliens, and the Doom MK4 BFG. So wow, Caruso got to use Doom's big fucking gun. I love to see that Doom, even though I like Doom. Caruso and Doom with a big fucking gun? Okay, I'm down with that movie. Have this character put him in Doom. Okay, there you go. There's the movie. That would work. Soldier and Doom. Hey, Soldier and Mars and Doom. I would see that movie. The definitive Doom movie needs to be made sometime. I really hope they do. But I know I'm going all over the place with the review because the story's pretty simple and it's sort of a Western. A guy comes into town. He's got to help these people. Regains his humanity. But I will admit, I think the problems I had was that considering the film's a pretty big budget movie, like I've heard 75 million, I've heard 90 million, so whatever one. At times the film kind of feels like it's low budget. Like it has some good special effect shots, don't get me wrong, but like the sets, or even some of the action scenes, like I know it's more about the story of Caruso regains humanity, and it actually plays off well, better than I remember. And Caruso really pulls it off. He gives a really great performance. Really shows how good of an actor he is when he only has to use his body language, his face to do it. He did a really good job. I like his relationship with the kid, kind of simple but yet effective. That was a good idea to not make the kid talk. Not to have anything against kids, it just, you know, it worked in this instance. But it kind of seems like there's a little bit of a, how do I put it? I know it's big budget because they say it, and you have some good, you know, special effects and stuff. And I like the action scenes, but for some reason it still feels like it's low budget. Like, I've seen more well-done action and lower budget films like Nemesis. Well, okay, think of Nemesis and how much money that cost. And think of those action scenes. And if I had to admit, those action scenes are better than Soldier. I'm like, how does that work? Like, you look at Nemesis, or even films like Automatic or Deadly Outbreak, and those action scenes are better, like, or Riot with Gary Daniels, those are better action scenes than Soldier. But Soldier has a bigger budget. But of course, things like, well, yeah, they paid $20 million for Kurt Russell, and then you have the CGI special effects and stuff like that. And I don't know if I wanted more action or, you know, a little bit better editing, or not editing, but something a little bit more adrenaline rush with the action scenes. But I will say, the action scenes that are there, other than the Jason Statham Caruso fight, which I do feel could have been better, either better choreography or something, because again, Jason Statham, he can do some stuff, you know, and Caruso, he can do the, like Stallone, you know, more of a boxer type thing. You know, like, again, Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and Demolition Man. But, which I will say, I like that movie better than Soldier. But I gotta say, the other action scene, you know, the bazooka, picking them off one by one, you know, the big minigun, really good action scenes, a simple yet effective story, nice supporting cast with, I like James Black, Gary Busey, Sean Pertwee, Connie Nielsen, Michael Chiklis, the little kid was nice. Definitely not annoying kid, definitely not. And overall, it does kind of remind you of an 80s film. It's because of its simplicity, straightforward, with a really solid action hero. Like, you buy Caruso as the soldier. You really buy him in this role. You really buy him. I will say, I like this much better than Solo. I'm not a fan of Solo or Mario Van Peebles. I tried to do that again. This was much better than Solo. I will say, this did much better. Even though he's not a machine, but I'm just saying, kind of that concept. It was much better in this film. So I will say I am a fan of this movie now. I used to be, but then I wasn't, but now I am. I don't know why. Just, I'm weird like that. But, you know, some good action scenes, simplistic story that works. Caruso gives a great performance. Definitely a lot harder without the use of a lot of sentences. But he pulls off well. You see the emotion. You can see what's going on in his head through his movements, through his eyes, whatnot. A lot of nice little touches, like the last shot of the movie. I thought was the way it's done was a nice touch, among others. And you get some really badass moments, you know, with Caruso gearing up and says, I think she asks, "What are you going to do now?" "I'm going to kill them all, sir." I'm like, "Yeah, right, cool, fucking name." So definitely recommend Soldier. If you haven't seen Soldier, you're a fan of Caruso, you're really missing out. This is a really good one. For Paul W.S. Anderson, this is one of his good ones. I will put this in the Mortal Kombat Event Horizon category of his good films. So, and I like Death Race as well, but I'll say this. I like this better than Death Race. I like Death Race, but I'll say I'll put this over Death Race. I'll do that. I like Mortal Kombat better, and I like Event Horizon better, but I put this next for Paul W.S. Anderson. You know, so definitely a good movie. Good Caruso movie, good action movie. There's certain aspects I think they could have worked on, action-wise or choreography-wise, but overall, solid film. If you like action films, especially like 80s type of action films, definitely should give this a look. So either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.